Well, welcome back and Happy New Year. Cricket's about to resume again in the Mornington Peninsula Cricket Association. Their 3-week break. They played just before Christmas and they've had 3 weeks off after Christmas. A lot of other competitions had just the 2 weeks off and they came back last weekend, but it was the decision by the clubs to play an extra week up to Christmas and then get an extra week off after Christmas. So we resume with round 9 in the competition this week. My name's Dan Lonigan. Great pleasure to be here. We're here for our sponsors, Blackout Electrical. Great to have them on board. Breeny Brothers Brewery wearing the great hat today, and it's a great brew, of course. Telstra Business Technology Centre of Melbourne South. We thank Gareth White and his team for jumping on board as well. And also GameFace Vision. If you want your games televised during the season, we've got another game to go for Mount Eliza, and that'll be not this weekend, but the following weekend, the Australia Day weekend, and we're looking forward to that one-day fixture as well. Get in touch with the team at GameFace, Josh Rickard, Glenn Carter, and the crew. It's a great pleasure to welcome one of the greats of the MPCA. He's a star with his team who are going okay. Langwarrin at the moment in the provincial competition, part of the Prosser family who are ornaments when it comes to sport on the peninsula. Their old man Rob played a couple of games for South Melbourne or the Swans back in the mid-80s. Found it a bit hard being a star rover himself to get into a team that had Colin Hounsell, David Murphy, Barry Mitchell, Greg Williams, Gerard Healy and Stevie Wright. But he was able to play some good VFA footy as well. His sons have gone on to have great cricket careers, including, of course, my guest today, one of the great leg spinners in the competition and all-rounders. I hope I've certainly built them up enough. Matty Prosser, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me. Dad will be pretty happy with that plug, I reckon.
He was a bit unlucky, wasn't he? I mean, it was a good era for the club, but gee, that's some good players there for a while, didn't they?
Yeah. Look, mate, it's well past my time, so not too sure, but he was a good sportsman still, yeah.
Was it good to have a few weeks off, or would have you preferred to have come back last week like a lot of the comps did?
I just love playing cricket, so I'd have been happy to come back. But it is nice to get that 3 or 4 weeks off to refresh and, just regroup and then get back into it this week. So looking forward to it.
Well, the ladder at the moment in provincial, Long Island... that of course is Peninsula. We'll get to Provincial. Long Island are going well in Peninsula, but in Provincial, Pines find themselves on top again. 6 wins, a loss and a no result. Dramana have 5 wins, 2 losses and a no result, just losing their way before the bye, Dramana. Maybe they were one team that needed a break. Langy are 4-2-2 on 60 points. So Pines 78, Dramana 66, Langwarrin 60. And Heather Hill have probably been the surprise packet. They've had a tie, and that was against Red Hill, and they're on 56. And Red Hill, the reigning premiers, on 44. Old Peninsula 36, and Baden Powell and Sorrento on 24. Now, it's very tight, isn't it? I mean, you look at Sorrento on the bottom of the ladder, but they're not far away, are they?
Yeah, I think every year it's pretty tight, isn't it? Since we've gone to the 4 comps, I just find, there's no real easy game. So, it's important when we get back, we start well and get a couple of wins early. So, especially being in that 3rd place around, it's pretty tight, 4th, 5th, 6th. Last
year you lost to Red Hill in the semi-finals. There was some chin music when you got Simon Dart out. He who laughs last, laughs loudest, and Red Hill beat you. How important was that win before Christmas against them, considering they surprised you? Because you were red-hot favourites in that semi last year, weren't you?
We were playing good cricket last year, so we backed ourselves to win. But any team that's got a Simon Dart in it is hard to beat. So, that game before Christmas was massive for us. They're obviously close on the ladder with us. So for us to go in, I think we started a bit slow, but our last 3 games before Christmas, we've really started to find some form. So if we can pick that back up this week, it'll be good.
Do you think you're a better side than last year? And if you are, why?
We've had a few changes. We've had some really key guys come in. Obviously, Ricky Damiano's a fair player. Jack Margette at the top of the order, who people probably don't know about, but he's had a great start to the year for us. And Andrew Smith's come back, a Langy boy, Langy Junior. I think he's leading wicket taker in the comp. So, we've had some really key ins. I do feel we probably are stronger than last year. It's just about now gelling together and playing. If we play our best cricket, we feel like we can beat anyone. But it's a tough comp. So,
what does Ricky Damiano bring to the table?
Well, he's just got such a good cricket brain. So he's our captain, obviously, this year. So he's a bit of a cricket nuff. But his cricket knowledge, whether that be at training or in a game, is great. Obviously, his ability speaks for itself, which hopefully he's had a couple of good knocks for us, but I think we're going to see a big finish to the year for him, and hopefully if we can do that, it'll hopefully take us a long way.
In recent years, and our guest today is Matt Prosser here for the MPCA Cricket Show, and we're talking provincial and his team, Langwarrin. Recent years you've been the hunted. I think everyone would love to beat Langwarrin. Do you feel you're more like the hunters this year?
I think you're right in that, especially quite a few years ago when we won those couple of flags, and then after that there was a few years there where we probably feel like we were the hunted. I prefer to just fly under the radar if you can, but I think teams do like beating Langy, so we know that they're going to bring their best, and if we've got to be on to make sure we bring our best.
It's very hard to fly under the radar when you're a good side and you're constantly in the finals and you're winning regularly, which you have been in recent times, and that probably is what Old Peninsula are finding at the moment. I mean, they're not going too badly, but a few years ago they were the best side, and the best side by a fair way, weren't they? Yeah,
they were, and they're still, I know they're probably not winning as many games as they were probably a couple of years ago, but they're still such a threat. They've still got all those good players, and I think, like, you look at Sereno at the bottom of the ladder, like they've still got dangerous players. Like I said before, there's no easy game. Every game's tough.
Well, Baden Power had a win over Sereno before Christmas, 6 for 172 over 171, and they've been pushing a lot of sides and not quite getting the result. So I dare say they would have been delighted to have found a way to win a game.
Yeah, well, especially that one, the context of the game. So, look at Reece Helmy, he's making plenty of runs.
He is.
Dale's a good player. They've got plenty of good players. So, those two are at the bottom of the table at the moment, but you look in the last few years, they've played a lot of finals cricket. So, as I said, there's no easy win.
Simon Dart turns 49 this year. I was talking to a few people during the week, and I just said, do you think he's got a captain coach's role in a premier team like Frankston in him, who probably need a bit of experience? Because he's still playing brilliant cricket, isn't he?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that, but he's a hell of a player. So, each year you think, he might just slow down a bit, but it just doesn't seem to happen, does it? So, yeah.
Why is he so good?
Oh, look, for me, it's like when you play him, I feel like he likes to dominate. If there's a build-up of a maiden or two, he just seems to. When you feel like you're getting on top, he just finds a gap or he finds a boundary. He just breaks that pressure, and then once he gets in, he's just so hard to get out. So I feel like you got to try and get him early. Otherwise, once he's in, he's so hard to get out.
Pines found a way to beat Old Peninsula, and they generally find a way. They've got a great bowling attack. They've got the 5 Jackson boys playing in that team. They've still got the great man Rammer in that side. They've got a lot of talent there. They've dropped just one game this year. They just have this want to find a way to win, especially in home and away cricket. Why do you think it's the case?
I think you look at a couple of those Jackson boys now, they're hitting that really key age. Dickie and Connor.
Yep.
They're bloody good players, and they have been, but they're at that age now where they're starting to really cash in with big scores. Both of them getting hundreds early in the year. So, I think they're just at that really good age. They're fit, they're young. Their bowling attack, it's hard to get away. They're just always at you. And they just, under Rick, they just play relentless cricket. So it's always tough playing against them.
And as we know, Dramana came up from Peninsula. They won the flag. They were on top early in the season. I thought early days, well, they still might do it. They were going to do what the football team did in 2018, 2019, win the second division flag and then the first division flag. Dropped their last couple. Why have they been so good up until that little slip before Christmas?
Sammy Fowler's a fair player. He's had
player.
A good start to the year. Yeah. So when you got one or two guys really firing, I think that helps. Obviously, I haven't seen much of them. We've only played them once, and that's the only time I've sort of seen them play.
Were you impressed?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. They were quite attacking, which is, I think it's a good way to play. If you sit back and wait, I think if you get after it, you can get results. So, I was quite impressed. I think they'll be there at the end of the season. So, look forward to playing them again.
And you got the three brothers with you. How's Big Brother going? House full of ladies. His lovely partner's just had another girl. He's now got 3, so he's keeping pretty busy.
He is, yeah. It's funny because the Campbells have got a couple of girls.
Yes.
Jake's got 3 now, and I just think we could have had a really good cricket side in the future.
Well, you still might.
A good girl side, so which would be cool. But he just can't seem to have a boy, can he?
How does Uncle Matt go with them?
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's good fun for a couple of hours, and I can just sort of go, all right, back to Dad.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the two other ones. They're on fire the whole time, aren't they?
No, they're good.
It's excellent. Now, this week is round 9, one-day matches. We've got a couple of them back-to-back. Do you prefer the one-days or the 2 days?
Look, I find the one-days are quite fun because they're always, it's every over just is like, it's intense, I feel. Like, games go down to the wire. It's always pretty tight. So I suppose they are quite enjoyable. I probably personally prefer maybe the 2 days. I'm just a bit more of a traditionalist, I guess. But I like the format of 7 and 7. Yeah.
So you're more of a test person than a T20 or one-day person?
Yeah, I like the test format. Yeah.
So you've enjoyed watching Jasprit Bumrah in the holidays?
Yeah. Yeah.
Superstar, isn't he?
Yeah, too good for us.
Yeah, well, he is, but I mean, they just didn't have anyone else other than him really to help him out.
Yeah,
so.
I think if he had someone else, they'd probably knock us over.
Absolutely. Well, this is the MPCA Cricket Show. We're here for Blackout Electrical. We're also here for one of our great sponsors in Breedy Brothers Brewery, Telstra Business Technology Centre of Melbourne South, and also GameFace Vision. Let's look at round 9, Matt, and the 7th place Baden Power travelled to Red Hill, who are 5th. Who wins that?
Red Hill probably. I just think with the form, Darty, I think he'll probably get some runs, and they'll be tough to beat at home.
Sorrento 8th against Pines first. It could be banana skin, Sorrento at home. I mean, as you say, it's a tight comp. You wouldn't rule them out, Sorrento. They're due, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be brave to go against Pines. I think Pines will get the job done there.
Old Peninsula are 6th, and they're hosting Dramana, who are 2nd.
Well, that could be interesting. Obviously, Dramana coming off those couple of losses. So, POB have still got those. Old Peninsula, sorry, have got those. They've still got that similar team to when they won the grand final. So, there's the talent there to get the job done. But I just think, Dramana's probably just got the edge on them, I think.
And how surprised have you been by Heather Hill? You're playing them this week. What are you expecting? And why do you think they're going as well as they are, which is 4th on the ladder at the moment?
Yeah, that's a good question. They've got the talent in the team. Christian Miller, they've got plenty of good players. Their bowling outfit. When we played them, they were pretty good against us. Jake Theobald. They've got good players, and they seem to play as a team quite well. We didn't get a look at I think if they got a POM.
I think they do, yes.
Yeah, we didn't get a look at him, but I see he started the year quite well. So,
right.
Obviously, including him's been good for them.
So it's going to be challenging. Of course, Addy is a very, very good bowler.
Yeah. I think getting him back for them has been massive. So, strengthens that bowling attack, gives them probably that bit of extra pace and bit of extra edge, I think. And then you got their medium paces and spinners that can just do the job after that. So, we expect a pretty tough contest Saturday. How
much chirping are you expecting from Addy? Plenty?
Pretty standard from Addy, but he's quite enjoyable to play against Addy. I like him.
How do you sort of keep that away? I mean, you're a very experienced player and a good player, and you've played, of course, at Premier level, so you'd be able to probably keep that in the background. Your brother's one of the great street fighters in local cricket, Jake, and I've caught him up for a couple of years now. He'd be another one that would either fight back or he could keep it in the back of his mind as well. Is it a hard thing to do when someone's at you the whole time, not only with the ball as Addy is, but also just trying to put you off with his mouth?
It can be. I try not to get into that too much, and just if I'm batting, I just try and focus on what I've got to do, I guess. With me and Addy, it's probably a bit more friendly. We get on pretty well, but I think you just got to enjoy the contest. And Addy gives you a good contest. There's a bit of chirp there and that, but I think it's all in pretty good spirits. And it's just a good contest. So.
Well, let's have a look at Peninsula now. Matt Pross is my guest from the Lang Warren Cricket Club, and Long Island, a team that went down a little bit unlucky last year on 80 points. They've had an outright. They've got 2 no results, 1 loss and 5 wins. Playing pretty good cricket, aren't they? And in a good spot going into the second half of the year. Yeah,
definitely. Aidan McKenna, played a bit of cricket with him. He's a fair player to have up the top. He can win you a game in the first 15 overs if he gets going. So. I looked at their side. It's still pretty good from last year, obviously, when they were playing in the.
Were they unlucky to go down?
I suppose so. In the end, you just got to win 1 or 2 of them close games.
Yeah,
keeps you up. But their side's good enough to be back up with us, so no surprise to see where they are.
Rosebud are second. They had some issues in the off-season that they might lose players, but they worked very hard to keep those players, and not only keep those players, but be a very good side. Only had the one loss, 2 no results, of course, and 5 wins. They're on 72 points. So the outright win to Long Island is probably only keeping Rosebud from the top. So it's been an impressive year for the Bud so far.
Yeah, the 2 Nagel boys have been travelling all right, which is good to see. And we played them in a practice game, and they were quite impressive, Rosebud. I think Liam Collette, young fella, looked like a pretty impressive player. So, I like their squad.
I've seen a bit of Mount Eliza. They were too good for Murdoch before Christmas. Ian Botham going. It's great to catch up with Lord Sir Ian Botham, one of the greatest players to play the game. And that interview is up on our website and also on our social media platform pages. And they've won 4, lost 2, and 2 no results. I know, speaking to Nick Barron, their playing coach, he said the batting hasn't been great, but the bowling has been wonderful. Higgins, I don't know why I was calling him Ruben Hanson during that game a few weeks ago. I apologise for that. But Ruben Higgins and Tom Barron have taken 40 wickets between them. So while they're doing that, it keeps them in games, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Good to see Tommy Barron still going. He's always been a crafty left armer, hasn't he?
Very good player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Always has been.
I mean, Higgins was in the 2s last year, I believe, and is now a permanent member of that side and just gets wickets every week.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, to be honest, but I did see he's taken a heap of wickets. So, yeah.
And Mornington, a little bit up and down, but they're also on 60 points with Mount Eliza, who've got the better net run rate. 4 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws. They had a good win before Christmas. They thrashed Seaford, 5 for 196, Seaford out for 110. So Mornington have got talent. They probably just need to harness it a bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Nice ground down there to play, Mornington.
Beautiful ground.
They're good squad. Good to see Fooney playing a few games as well. Good to see him back playing.
Somerville, 3 wins, 3 losses, 2 no results. They started the season slowly with 2 losses, starting to get their bowlers back. They're on 48 points. They're a pretty good side as well. Yeah,
on paper they've got a pretty strong side, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them challenge for the top 4 going into the back half of the season.
And Murdoch, a different team this year. They were pretty disappointing against Mount Eliza, as it's only made 9 for 131, and then Mount Eliza able to get those runs comfortably for the loss of just 1 wicket in that match before Christmas. And 2 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws. They've had some injuries, but look, as I say, they're trying to rebuild the club, getting some new players in. But what they've been very good at, Matt, is an ability to stay up. They play finals a bit, and then even if they're in contention for relegation, they still find a way to stay up. So you've got to admire that.
Yeah, definitely. It shows that, if they just fight, and they probably win a couple of those close games, which allows them to stay up. But I don't know too much about them, to be honest.
And the bottom 2 sides, Seaford Tigers, just 1 win. That was against Seaford, 5 losses, 2 no results, and Seaford yet to open their account. So you'd think that when they play each other later in the year, that could be on and will be on. I mean, there's no love lost between the 2 teams. And look, that would be great. We would hope that the 2 teams would just concentrate on playing cricket. I think it'd be a wonderful game to actually be at, knowing that there's no love lost between the group of selectors and the clubs themselves off the field and on the field. They probably know that the winner of that game will stay up and the loser will go down. So it's been tough for Tigers the last couple of years because they got very close to nearly going up to Provincial. They got beaten in the grand final in Peninsula. Yeah. So they've lost some players, and I suppose being a smaller club, when you lose players and you can't quite replenish those stocks, it does affect your depth, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, especially you look at like a Cransfield now, he's playing ones at Frankston. So trying to replace that can be tough. But
he's a very good player, isn't he?
Definitely, Seaford, hopefully Ryan McQueen, few runs back end of the year and can, keep them up.
Well, of course, they came up last year. They were very, very good in the 3rd comp, which is district. Now, round 9, Rosebud 2nd, meet Mount Eliza 3rd. That's a massive, massive game, very important game for both teams' finals hopes. Do you think Rosebud at home might be able to get over the line here?
Yeah, I'll back the Nagel boys in there to get the job done.
I take it you're pretty friendly with those boys.
They're good fellas.
They are good fellas, and their old man, he's mad too, but a good bloke as well. Now, Murdoch 6th, they're hosting Seaford 8th. That's a crucial game for Seaford to try and win, and Murdoch to ensure they keep their distance between those bottom 2.
Yeah, that could be an interesting game, that one. I might back Seaford in for that.
Mornington v Somerville, it's 4th against 5th. And again, a crucial contest.
Yeah, some big games this week. Look, Summy, I said on paper, I feel like I've got a pretty strong team. So I might tip Somerville there.
And Long Island first on the ladder, as we said, going beautifully at the moment, 8 points clear, and they play the Tigers 7th. They would be pretty strong favourites there.
Yeah, it'd be hard to see them losing that game, I think.
The MPCA Cricket Show. It's great to be here. Dan Lonigan and Matt Prosser from the Langwarrin Cricket Club with you for Blackout Electrical. Also, our sponsors are Breeny Brothers Brewery and Telstra Business Technology Centre of Melbourne South, and also GameFace Vision. Now, into the district competition and the ladder. Carrum Downs, 5 wins, 1 loss, 2 no results, 72 points. Carrum will be disappointed. They dropped a game before Christmas, 4 wins, 2 losses, and 2 no results on 60. Same with Flinders. Balnarring are 3-3-2 on 48. Crib Point are 3-3-2 also on 48. And Bonio are 3-3-2, having dropped the last 2 before Christmas on 48. Baxter are 2-4-2 on 36, and Main Ridge having a tough time of it. Gareth White and the boys down there, Johnny McEncrow, yet to open their account. They're on 12 points. It was a thrilling win by Crib Point against Bonio, and that sort of game when they won with 2 balls left, Matt, 9 for 179, and Bonio were bowled there for 176. Crib Point getting the win with 2 balls left can be the sort of game that can change a season and shape a season, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. It can bring the group together. Just looking at that ladder, it's very tight, isn't it? So that's a big result for them.
I mean, if Bonio wins, they go to 60, and Crib Point stay on 36.
Yep.
And that's what as you said a bit earlier, you've got to start winning the close games. If you don't win the close games, it sort of leaves you vulnerable.
I think you start to look at it a little bit more now than you would in the first half of the year, especially around that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th mark. If you're a 3rd or 4th and you're playing a 5th or 6th, to get that extra separation, I think is crucial. So. Yeah.
I thought the most interesting result was Balnarring. I mean, Carrum 159. We know Sean Foster's the star, and D'Artry's a very good player. They've got some very good cricketers in that team at Carrum, and a wonderful junior program, and also women's program too down there. And Balnarring have made none for 160, and we know their best is good enough, particularly when you've got the Hewitt boys in good form. If they get going, as we saw a couple of years ago in sub-district, and they can get a bit more consistency, they could be very hard to beat. I mean, that's a good sign for them, and probably alarm bells for every other team in the comp that they did what they did, chasing 159 so comfortably and easily.
Yeah, definitely. It can send a bit of a message to the rest of the comp, can't it, having a comfortable win like that.
Flinders 8 for 221 beat Main Ridge 113, and Main Ridge have got the best ground in the comp, in my humble opinion. Have you ever played there?
Not for a while. I think I played there when I was about 17 or 18, maybe.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ground. But Flinders doing pretty well in patches as well. So, as you say, it's going to be a very, very tight run competition between the top 6 as to who makes the finals. I mean, Baxter are not out of it. We know that 2 years ago you guys were playing them in Provincial. They had a bad year to go down last year, poor year in Peninsula. They should stay up at this stage. But they've still got some work to do, but they seem to be improving a little bit.
Yeah, it's good to see young Joshy Mack back in the ones there too. They were a powerhouse of the comp, weren't they? They
were
for a number of years. So, look, you hope to see them back to that sort of best cricket. I wouldn't say they're out of it by any stretch. Yeah.
Would you hope that too? I know they used to have 10 teams in sub-districts, only 8. And at this stage, Pearcedale, who were in Provincial for a long time, and they sort of did at Baxter too, didn't they? They went down grades in consecutive years, that they've backed out of the top 4 at the moment, along with Hastings, that those 2 teams would come back. Or do you think it's better with the 8-8-8 system in the 4 grades?
A bit cleaner.
Yeah.
But you don't want to see that with clubs. It's not nice to see. Obviously, struggling numbers-wise and all that sort of stuff. We played Pearcedale probably 6 or 7 years ago in Provincial, and they were pretty strong.
Yeah.
So it's not nice to see that decline. You want to see all clubs thriving, I guess. Just makes it a healthy competition. But like in the situation they're in, it's probably not good for them at the minute. So hopefully they can get back on their feet and get back into the competition. Quick selections: Balnarring 4th, hosting Carrum Downs 1st. Big game. Carrum Downs on top of the table. Yeah, I think Carrum Downs got a pretty strong group there. Played them a couple of times in 2020s, and they've got some handy players. So I think they'll get the job done. How are the 2020s going? Yeah, good. We've got one game left. I think we've won all three. So, hopefully we'll play Long Island, which will be a tough one for us in our last game. And if we can win that, we'll go through to the next stage. But yeah, no, I enjoy them. They're good fun. Yeah.
Why do you think you're so good at it? I mean, there was a period there where some would say that maybe you had a bit of a tough patch with your cricket because you played so much T20 cricket. You were so good at it that you'd win all the local comps in the MPCA, then you win all the regional comps, and then you'd end up playing in all the state competition finals as well. And I think you probably, as Jake said to me after that loss you had at the Junction Oval a few years ago now, mate, we played so much cricket. Yeah. And you're a bit cooked in the back end of the Saturday competition, but you are so good at T20 cricket, aren't you?
Well, we've had a pretty good record. We won 4 in a row in that period. It was great to get around the state, get to the Junction. Yeah. It was a great experience. We were pretty cooked by the end of it.
Yeah, you were a bit.
And it might have affected the back end of the year on the Saturday comp a little bit, maybe, with a few of the older bodies. I don't know. We just white ball. I think it's more of our bowling and fielding that was really. We just knew our roles. We were energetic. We were young. We were fresh. Similar to sort of what Pines have now, I think. I think that was just, and we really enjoyed it. Like we travelling around and get to go to Bendigo. I think we went. We had the Junction. We had a few trips. We just really got together and just all bought in.
How many can trips coming back from Bendigo? Was it many?
I can't remember, to be honest. Maybe 5 or 6.
Big brother lead the way?
Yeah, probably.
G'day, Jake. Now, Baxter 7th. They're hosting Flinders 3rd, who are flying under the radar a bit, Flinders, but playing some pretty good cricket.
Yeah, it's good to see the young fella getting a lot of runs. Fieldy's young fella.
Yes.
Obviously a special talent, so,
Could he go a bit higher?
Oh, you'd think so, yeah. Yeah. And it's great, you want to see that from the MPCA. You hope some of the young kids can get out and play Premier Cricket and hopefully higher.
Now, you were involved, obviously, at Frankston Peninsula for a short time. Is the relationship better? And there was criticism that the MPCA and the Frankston Peninsula Heat didn't have a great relationship. In fact, the relationship didn't exist at all. I know you're not playing with him now, but do you feel that, looking from the outside, that it has improved in recent years?
Look, I mean, it's probably a hard one for me to comment on, I suppose. Like the time I was there at Frankston, which was only short, they were great to me. It's probably just the only thing that made me not go and play there was I just love playing at Langy.
Yes.
But yeah.
So no regrets that you left?
No. Well, I didn't. I actually didn't have to leave because I think it was one of the COVID years.
That's right.
We finished 3 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And they invited me down and I just went straight in and played a couple of games.
Enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. Yeah. Yep. And like I said, they were really good to me. So yeah, everything about it was great. I just was too loyal to Langy, I guess. Yeah.
What is it about the loyalty with Langway?
I don't know. I've always loved the club. Yeah. The people there. I like the older guys there. The history of it. I just love the people. Yeah, it means a lot playing there. So.
Does Reezy still drive you mad? Is he concentrating more on the footy or the cricket? G'day, Reezy.
He's done well with Edithvale.
Oh, has he what? He would drive them around the bend, Matt, don't you reckon? He said, I think he had 6 or 7 coffees with Chris Pendlebury before they signed him on the dotted line. I mean, at the end of the day, you'd just say, all right.
I think in the end you just say, all right, I'll sign. If it'll shut you up, I'll sign. But no, look, he's great with that. He still does a bit for us.
Good.
And he's a very well-respected man.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's one of these great volunteers in local sport that you need. Absolutely. Now, Main Ridge, you'd love to see them have a win, but it will be tough. Bonio need to get back on track after dropping their last 2. We said that loss against Crib Point could be the difference between making the finals and missing out, considering it was such a tight defeat. You'd think that Bonio would win, but Main Ridge do play that beautiful ground very well.
Bonio probably got too much to play for there. I think they'll get over the line. And
Crib Point 5th against Carrum 2nd.
We'll back Fozzie in.
Back Fozzie in, the great man. He was having a very, very good year. Now, sub-district, Tutkarook on top. It's pretty tight here too. Just the one loss, 72 points. They're going very well at the moment. Dallicum Park, 66 points, have had 2 losses and 5 wins. Tutkaruk also the 5 wins. And there have been some games played here when they probably shouldn't have been played. There's a couple of teams that haven't had, a game washed out yet. I think there was a win that Rye had that I know Ballon Park weren't too impressed about, but Rye still got over the line that day, and the conditions weren't the best, Matt, that we've seen. But anyway, they played. Tyab, 60 points, 4 wins, 2 losses, 2 no results. YCW, 4 wins, 2 losses, 2 no results, also on 60. And a bit of a gap to Ballon Park, 3 wins, 4 losses, 1 no result on 50. Rye on 48, yet to have a no result, 4 wins, 4 losses. Sky, 1 win, 5 losses, 2 no results on 24. And Mount Martha, just the 1 win. They've yet to have a no result, 7 losses. Lost a lot of players after making the grand final last year. And going down to Bonio, they're on 12 points. So having a look at the matches remaining in round 9 for this week in that competition, Sky 7th up against YCW, having a pretty good year in 4th position.
Yeah, I think YCW will get the job done there.
Rye 6th. The season's been a bit up and down, but Dallicum Park, a good side. They had a disappointing year last year and they dropped down, but they're looking to try and go straight back up. A couple of years ago, they played in the district final, so they're a fair side, just had a couple of down years, but this is a big opportunity for them as they travel to Rye.
Yeah, we played them in the 2020, I think, first or second game. They got a couple of really impressive young kids, Dallicum Park, so I think I'll tip them there.
Is it good playing teams from other divisions in the T20? The locality or geography system works well, doesn't it, I reckon?
Yeah, it does. I suppose if you've got a high-performing provincial team against a lower grade team, if you were to ask them, they might say it's a bit of a challenge for them.
Yep.
But it's at the same time, I guess you could look at it, it's an opportunity for them to play against some provincial teams.
Correct.
And it's good to see some of the talent. Like I said, a couple of those young kids were really impressive.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that.
Now, Tyab 3rd against Mount Martha 8th. Tyab were the top team, just dropping a couple before the break, but still a very good side. Mount Martha, as I say, having been beset by lots of player losses before the season has started. So it's been a tough old year for Mount Martha. Do you think Tyab would win that?
I think so, yeah.
And Tutkaruk up against Ballon Park. It's 1st against 5th. So Tutkaruk, a good side. They can be a bit inconsistent, the Frogs, but they're playing a good brand of cricket. And I dare say, if they happen to win the premiership this year, that'll be a good place to get down to because they love a party down there.
Is that right? Yeah, okay. I'll back them in then.
Excellent. So it should be a terrific game of cricket. Well, looking forward to round 10, round 9, of course, coming up this week. Then round 10, another one-dayer. So 2 in a row and then back into the 2 days. The season's finishing late. Is that a good thing? 29th of March and then the footy starts the week after.
That's good. No rest.
No rest?
Yeah, straight into it.
Straight into it.
Yeah.
You don't miss not playing footy?
No, I'm too little for footy, I think.
Are you?
Yeah, just cricket for me.
Did you play at all?
Juniors, yeah, up until about under 15s, but then, I just love me cricket too much, so I just sort of focused on that, yeah.
Is Jake so involved at Langy in the footy?
I'm not too sure. I haven't really asked him about it, to be honest, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We're looking forward to what happens in round 9 this week. We'll be back next Wednesday with another show in round 10. Thanks to Randa for all his hard work for making it possible today. Glenn Carter for the use of this wonderful studio down here at Somerville. And we thank our sponsors, Brenny Brothers Brewery, also Blackout Electrical, Telstra Business Technology Centre of Melbourne South, Garrett Wyatt and the team, and also GameFace Vision. And if you want an opportunity to have your game televised throughout the rest of the season, we'll certainly be doing the finals. We've got another game, as I said, Mount Eliza, round 10, not this week, the following week, another one-day coming up. Get in touch with Josh Rickard and Glenn Carter and the team, and they will look after you. Enjoy your cricket this week. It'll be great to have it back, and we'll speak to you next week with more on The Cricket Show for the MPCA.